Branch. As this multicolored column of light absorbs you and your allies, you brace yourself, both against the stomach-lurching rush of magical energy and the imminent cold you expect to find on the other side. You feel your hooves lift from the stone, and the colors turn to a blur around you. You lose track of the shapes of your allies. You feel your mind stretch to what feels like its breaking point just before it snaps back with a nauseating rush, plunging you face forward into a swirl of color and then into darkness. You blink, confused, and find yourself unable to move, unable to speak, unable to do anything but watch as the darkness unfolds into the sight of trees around you. Your hooves touch the surface of a familiar pond but do not sink deeper. You stand before an enormous tree in the same grove you stood when you dreamed of your goddess not long ago. The tree trunk breaks open again, and once more a body begins to pull itself from within, a head shrouded by mossy hair lifting up, two dark eyes meeting yours. Your goddess's hand extends, reaching towards you, and then the world trembles. Darkness suddenly cuts through the air between you and your goddess, a gash of it appearing on the tree trunk above and another to either side. You hear your goddess scream as these tears in the fabric of the dream widen, darkness spilling out to consume the sight of the trees around you, and a shape pulls itself out of the dark hollow above your goddess, with 8 long limbs and a dozen eyes and a pair of fangs dripping darkness that sink into the side of your goddess's neck. You have no breath in your lungs. You cannot scream as this monstrous phantasmal spider slashes this vision to ribbons. Then you are falling again. Fragments of the dream stab into your mind like daggers. Memories of the faces of your parents fill your mind, and in the distance, somewhere, you hear the sound of your little sister screaming. You watch your own younger self, paint splashed across her face like blood, harsh eyes watching her in judgment. You watch her run across moonlit snow, and then your vision is pulled back, deep into the forest, into the place where it all began. You hover high above the breach, staring down into the emptiness. Crystals rise up out of the darkness, ringing the edge of the pit, startlingly reminiscent of a maw of jagged teeth. Horus. The colors of the circle surround you, and so does the warmth of the ring on your finger. It infuses you with a heat that grows and grows, hot like the fire you coax to life in your palms, a heat that is larger and more powerful than anything you have ever felt. Your breath hitches in your throat, and you squeeze your eyes shut, basking in the warmth. And you suddenly feel heavy, as if you have not slept in days. The warmth remains, but your limbs feel larger than they are, heavy and solid. You feel as though you are too small in your skin, and your eyes open to a cave filled from wall to wall with gold and tarnished armor and pieces of jewelry, all of which has long since been covered in dust. Long, deep breaths echo throughout the cave, deeper and louder than any creature you have ever encountered. You exhale, and a puff of smoke curls from your mouth, and you realize you are the one breathing. You are lying on this pile of riches, your body heavy with sleep, and so very warm. You are dreaming, whoever you are. You are not yourself, you understand that much. Your very bones feel old, older than your family line, older than the city you were born in. You see in the corners of your eyes your arms folded beneath your chin, but not your arms. Great thick arms covered in golden scales, tipped with claws long blunted with disuse. A long tail curls around you, and 2 great wings rest at either side of your enormous slumbering form. You sleep, this thing that you are, and you dream. You dream of a world untouched by the Federation, a world shaken by elemental unrest. In the mind that is not your own, you relive battles between yourself and violent chromatic dragons. Witness your mountain being assailed by giants greedy for your hoard. You see yourself flying high over the mountains, and you see yourself standing before a human man, your heated claw carving a strange mark into his skin. And you hear yourself speak in a voice that shakes the ground. Use my gifts with care, and do not forget. When this mark appears upon one of your descendants, you must honor your half of the pact. You see this man nod. He winces as the mark fades into his skin, and he claps his hands together. Fire bursts alight in his palms, and you watch him smile and bow deeply to you. You nod and blink, and you are back in the cave, slumbering, dreaming. You feel the weight of ages in your mind, and as the cave begins to fade from your view, you feel a new heat, a painful heat, of something carving itself into your chest. Pwish. As this strange magic flows around you, you feel as though the whole world falls away for a moment. You are alone again, colors streaming past your eye like rushing water. You feel at ease, as if you are resting comfortably upon a hallucinogenic high. And then the eye beneath your patch burns. Your eye sears like a hot skewer is being shoved through your skull, but you cannot scream. A voice fills your head, followed by another, then another, then another, all speaking in unison, speaking a single word that fills your mind like a clap of thunder. Return! Ventus. As the colors of the teleportation circle rise around you, you are suddenly struck with a deep-seated terror. Part of you recoils like an animal trapped in a cage, remembering a time when you strode through a strange, colorful door. But you do not stumble out into a strange forest this time, into the clutches of mysterious creatures. You remain within the column of color, unable to see your companions, unable to move, speak, even breathe. You can only stare as a face appears through the rainbow, breaking it apart like 1,000 shards of glass. It is a familiar face. The face is older, more creased, more haggard. The eyes are different too. Wiser, colder, filled with hatred. The eyes stare you down through the stream of color, and you feel the edge of an invisible blade graze your throat, and a harsh voice speak. Did you leave her too? Like you left me? Like you left your family? Is there anyone you haven't abandoned? Anyone you haven't cast away like trash? You feel the knife's edge sink deeper like a blade cutting your windpipe, and you gasp, but feel no blood run down your neck. The invisible blade retreats, and the voice speaks once more. You should have known the beaten dog would sharpen its teeth and come back to settle the score one day. Splint. One moment you are standing still on the circle, and the next you are running across an endless field beneath a starlit sky, and you are not alone. All around you are hundreds, thousands of spectral centaurs, young and old, small and large, more centaurs than you have ever seen in your life. You are running together, and your blood pulses in your veins, and you feel as though you could run forever. You run across the endless grasses, reckless and gleeful, with the pounding of their hooves like an earthquake rolling across the land. And then it stops. You halt sharply in place and turn. The vast herd has stopped behind you, silence deafening in the wake of their hoofbeats. They turn their heads skyward and begin to sing a strange song, a song like nothing you have ever heard. A mournful song that makes your throat ache to hear it. The sky grows dark, and one by one the stars wink out. The herd stays still, singing to the darkness, but they slowly part down the center. A centaur appears from the sea of bodies, his form more solid than the rest. His skin speckled with stars. He strides to you, his shoulders the same height as your head, and you can see plainly he is old. The hide of his lower body covered in shaggy hair, and he wears an old piece of armor over his chest with a mantle of fur. His long ponytail flows in the breeze, and behind a thick beard you see him smile. You will learn the song in time, young one. It is our oldest song. A song that the other speakers have forgotten. But you will learn it. You must learn it, or we will be lost. He turns his head to the sky. You realize now that though the song continues, a new sound has joined it. A distant roar like a rumble of thunder. You look behind the herd to see a wave of darkness bearing down upon them, swallowing the fields, and again you hear the old centaur speak. Life is for the living, young speaker. The dead must keep to our hunting grounds in the stars. We do not belong in your world. There is one who seeks to change that. It must not happen. The darkness pours across the herd, swallowing their starlight. The shadows twist and merge and melt together, and as the herd vanishes, a new shape takes its place. The darkness burgeons and spills across itself, building into the shape of a massive dark centaur that towers across the fields. Crooked antlers at its head, humped back, and thick legs covered in fur. The only visible features on its face, two bright eyes that stare down at you with cold emptiness that chills you to the bone. You see no mouth, and yet you hear it roar all the same. I will be with you, you hear the old centaur's voice say, though when you turn back to him you find he is not at your side anymore. We will all be with you when the time comes. Jog. Within the rainbow light of the circle, a noise rushes in your ears like a long, screaming whistle, so loud all you can do is close your eyes against it. Then, just as suddenly as it has appeared, it ends. You open your eyes to find yourself standing in darkness, an immense scattering of stars above and around you. Your friends are nowhere to be seen. You try to speak, but your voice has left you. The air is neither cold nor hot, and you feel weightless, as if you are floating on an immense black ocean. You feel weightless, as if you were... Oh, I already said that. It is silent for what feels like an age, and then a voice breaks the darkness, barely louder than a whisper. Are you watching, my fledgling light? You must watch closely. Watch and listen. Listen and learn. The scene changes. You are flung across the starlit expanse, tumbling through the sky for miles and miles until you fall, mountains jutting up from the earth beneath you, towering peaks covered in snow surrounding a valley untouched by the frost. You fall down into trees that do not creak in the wind, trees hard and cold as stone. In the distance, a mournful cry reaches your ears, a sound so lonely it breaks your heart. A hand brushes across your shoulder and the whisper reaches your ears yet again. He was lost here, in the valley of the Weeping Keeper. The boy with the spider's cloak, the boy without a reflection. Find him. He is one half of the broken key. The other half is a mirror cut from a sliver of moonlight. It is held by a merchantman in Mistport who does not know its true worth, a man whose wares bear the mark of a griffin. Find the boy. Find the mirror. Restore what has been lost. You have but a moment to take in the sight of the strange stone forest, this valley empty of life, before you are whisked away once again. This time your vision is dragged across the continent, towns and cities and forests and fields blurring around you. You are taken southward, across a familiar fen and through coastal ports, dragged out across the sea until the smell of salt fills your nose. Far across the horizon, a volcano spits smoke into the sky. Farther still, the water churns. You drift on the breeze gently as a feather, and you see a ship beneath you. A ship whose name you know to be the Renegade Star. The water turns black beneath its hull, and the sky is filled with furious thunder. Above the terrifying sound, you hear your god whisper. The veil is breaking. The storm will be here soon. Again you feel yourself moving, torn away from the sight of the ship as the storm wall bears down upon it. You are thrust downward, deep into the earth, so deep you feel as though you should suffocate, but the stone opens into a cavern as deep as a mountain is tall, filled with strange crystals and stranger plants all glowing in the dark. You move deep into tunnels covered in strange glyphs. Huge staircases terminate in jagged cliffs, made of wood and stone that does not match its surroundings. Pillars and towering shelves fill massive rooms that seem gouged into the rock. Shapes move in the shadows. One shape more massive than the rest, a great winged thing covered in feathers and fur. They must not find it. The supplicant, the marionette, the black rider. the Dream Wraith, the Herdmaster. I do not know how much longer I can keep them at bay. They are searching constantly. The last of the Guardians is mad. They will not heed my warnings, will not accept my aid. They will be lost soon, I fear. Once more, the scene changes. Blinding snow, enormous glaciers. A city carved of blue ice and white stone shaped by ancient magic. Cathedrals and palace halls decorated with firs. A shape moves in the hallways obscured from view. A sulphurous smell touches the inside of your nose. Be very careful here, my fledgling knight. Something foul seeks to defile the frozen throne. I do not know if you can stop it. You may already be too late. The ice is fragile. You must be gone from here before it cracks beneath you. Seek out Moira Glencarel in the Frozen City's arcane conservatory. Tell her you are a vagabond who has walked within the loom. Ask her to tell you what she knows of the lost founts. You must find them first, before the others do. Your god's voice grows fainter, swallowed by the sound of rushing wind, a distant breathy roar. The threads of time are twisted. I cannot see their path now. I do not know how long we have. Weeks, months, years, I do not know. Keep close to your allies, to those you know you can trust. You must not fall. Tread carefully and stay wary. I am with you always. I will protect you as long as I can. Your vision is overcome by darkness, and then you find yourself stumbling on the floor, dropping to your knees. All around you, you see your companions. You are standing upon the teleportation circle again, in a room carved of white stone. All of you stricken with dizziness, momentarily delirious as you each grapple with what you just witnessed.
Say something. I think I should make a Constitution saving throw to see if I throw up, because that would be like,
right.
What the fuck?
Do it.
Let's do it. Hey, I actually roll well for once.
Alright, yeah. You feel it start to convulse, your chest heaving, but you contain yourself.
Splint's reaction to this is immediately to say, "Did any of you see that?"
Branch is starting to tear up a little, more than a little bit, actually. Yeah.
Did we... quick meta question. Did we all have different visions, or did we all see all of those?
I think we had different visions,
You
but
all saw
Splint's...
different things.
But Splint is just asking, "Did you see that?"
Did you see the Fate Weaver?
I take off my coat and I look at my chest.
Push puts a hand to his eye patch and just like stands there, breathing shakily.
Oris, you see
I
as
saw
you pull away
tears.
your coat, and the others see it too, briefly, this burnt red mark on his chest. And almost as soon as you see it, it fades into his skin.
What?
I immediately look at myself. He's like, it probably wasn't on me as well, but let me get a check. Jug's gonna check as well.
You see nothing?
What did the mark look like?
Or as you feel this
Like,
burning
in
pain
general.
for a second, and then as the mark fades, so does the pain, as if it was never there.
What the fuck just happened?